I'm going to be talking about supply and demand, but how it correlates to the labor market. Now, we learned about supply and demand back in chapter 4 and how that related to products and producing goods and services, but today we're going to be talking about how that can be used to determine the price of resources or the labor that is used for a specific resource. So those who demand labor are known as employers, and those who supply the labor are known as employees. Now, for example, I work at Target and I am a cashier, and I also work at the guest service desk, and since I'm the one actually doing the labor, I am known as an employee, but my boss, he is my employer. Depending on my position at Target and any one of my coworkers' position at Target and how much of the demand there is for that position, that influences my wage rate or my salary. It would be considered the price of labor and how much Target is paying me to do the work. We can also look at the employees and employers in a way that creates a demand curve and a supply curve. In example, the more people that are working at Target, the less each person gets paid, but the less amount of people that are working at Target, the more they'll get paid. Hence, a downward sloping demand curve indicates that employers will hire more people at lower wage rates. The same goes for supplying the labor, except it's reversed. The more employees are supplying the labor, the more each employee gets paid. The less employees supplying the labor, the less each employee gets paid. An upward sloping supply curve indicates that more people are willing and able to work at higher wage rates.
The equilibrium wage rate is established in this way. Remember, the equilibrium price is a price at which the quantity demanded of a good equals the quantity supplied. In the labor market, the equilibrium wage rate is the wage at which the quantity demanded of labor equals the quantity supplied of labor. It is the wage rate at which the number of people employers are willing and able to hire is the same as the number of people who are willing and able to be hired. When a surplus of a good occurs, the price of the good falls. Things are similar in a competitive labor market. When the market has a surplus of labor, the wage rate falls. So, when the quantity supplied of labor is greater than the quantity demanded of labor, there's a surplus of labor. When there's a surplus of labor, that means that the rate falls. Quantity demanded of labor is greater than quantity supplied of labor, there's a shortage of labor, which means the shortage of labor means that the wage rate rises.
Why do some people earn more than others? This is a question that is often asked. If you convert a daily salary or a monthly salary into hours, you can find out how much a person earns on an hourly basis. Let's say someone earns $4,000 per month and works 160 hours a month. Their wage rate is $25 an hour. The supply and demand help us to understand why someone earns more than others. The supply and demand of each job is clearly not the same. Due to the equilibrium wage being higher for one job compared to the other, the wages of different jobs vary. An example would be that accountants earn more than construction workers. It must be because the supply of accountants is less than the supply of a construction worker.
There are multiple factors that can influence whether you want to pick one job over the other. Somebody could take a $100,000 job over a $50,000 job just because of the benefits. Some of the benefits or reasons for you to pick could be coworkers, location, hours worked, vacation time, job security, or you just love the job and you'll take a pay cut for it. A real-world example could be, say a teacher is offered 2 jobs. One offers him $70,000 a year, which is a pretty high amount. So I'll use this scale to represent this $70,000. The problem is that there's no other benefits. He's getting $70,000 a year, but it's also a preparatory school that requires him to work extra hours, work extra hard, and he gets less vacation time, right? Instead, he could be getting $50,000 a year from a place, say, closer to his family. This would be, say, $50,000, or less, obviously, than this. But the other benefits could be these. This could be more vacation time, and this could be closer to his family and better coworkers. So in the end, these are non-money benefits that help change his decision and take a pay cut instead of getting the $70,000.
So, what will you do in 10 years, 5 years? Maybe it's right now. What will you earn? What will you be doing? Maybe you'll be earning somewhere between $20,000 to $50,000 a year. Maybe you'll be the next Jeff Bezos, but maybe you'll be homeless. Who knows? But what will determine that? Your wage rate or salary comes from a number of things, one of them being the demand for your labor services. The higher the demand for the labor, the more you'll get paid, but the lower the demand for the labor, the less you'll get paid. Now, obviously, in a perfect world, there would be a high demand for everything, so you get paid as much as possible. But that's not real. Two factors that create a high demand. One of them is the demand for the specific good you produce. Now, let's say you're a chef. The more food you produce and the more people attending your restaurant, the higher you are in demand. Now, the second case is your productivity. Productivity means how fast you can get things done and how much you can do in a given amount of time. So being back to a chef, let's say your food is delicious and the restaurant is packed, but you're kind of a slow cooker. Now say the restaurant next door, equally delicious, same prices, but the customers are in and out within an hour. So obviously the restaurant that is going to be more productive is the one that's getting customers in and out quicker because they're earning more money. Hence, the faster restaurant will be in greater demand by customers. Now, there are several things that can influence productivity. One of them is being innate ability to do a specific task, whether that be organizing, cooking, offering attorney services, or playing basketball. It's just your natural ability to do that and how well you can do that. And secondly, your productivity can be affected by the quality and length of your education. Say you are a cook, or you want to become a cook. The longer you stay in culinary school and the better the education is, the better you will be as a chef. In summary, the demand for you as an employee will rise with the demand for the product of service you produce and your productivity. In short, the combination of high demand for a product of service, high productivity, and a situation where not many people can do what one does, like a certain type of surgeon or maybe like a pet doctor, it will result in a higher salary.
You all know that the minimum wage is a price floor and also determined by the U.S. Congress. Government is given the power to determine wages when they make the minimum wage higher than the current wage. For example, a McDonald's worker is making $4 an hour. If the government considers this unlawful, they can raise the minimum wage above this price and create a new wage. The effects of this are that there's less workers that can be hired because of how much it costs to pay them. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25.
There are two types of wages, money and real. Suppose I make $9 an hour in 2018, but $12 an hour in 2019. It seems to be that I am better off in 2019, right? This assumes that the prices of the goods I bought in 2018 and in 2019 are the same. Prices may be higher in 2019 than in 2018. It depends on how much my wage has increased compared to the increase in prices. If the price of goods increase and my wage rate increases, that I really have an increase in wage rate, my wage rate could have decreased even if it doesn't seem that way.